everyone, it's Karen, and it's about straight up 1 o'clock on the East Coast. I'm in the Washington, D.C. area, and it's a nice sunny day today, though I think there are storm clouds. Hopefully they will hold off. So if you're here live, please let me know. I am using StreamYard, and I can't always see your name in the comments. So if you put your name, say like, hi from Sarah or something like that, so I know who's here. I would love to see your names and see who's here, and we'll get started in just a minute. I have an awful lot to cover and a lot of shifts that I want to talk about. And so I hope you're ready. I hope you have a drink. I hope you have a notebook and a pen to make sure that you can take all the notes that you need so you can get the most value out of this. Today has been a little bit of a crazy day. We were supposed to have tree trimmers this afternoon, and they came at 8 a.m. So I definitely wasn't prepared for that. We were supposed to move the car and do some things, but I think that things like that always come up. So I hope you guys are doing well. And I'm just waiting for everyone to hop on. See some people coming. So let me share my screen so that we can get started. So the 3 essential shifts to skyrocket your business. I came across these shifts because I worked with a lot of female entrepreneurs, and I saw the same issues coming up over and over. Some ways in different ways for all my different clients and their different businesses, but some of these are kind of fundamental for business owners who are really looking now to kind of up level, to grow and to scale their business. And so it's so important that you have these. So let's get started. So in the next 60 minutes, you'll learn the 3 essential shifts so that you can skyrocket your business and finally get the business, the time, and the income that you desire without wasting hours, losing your sanity, or selling your soul. Who doesn't want that, right? This is for you if you're tired of downloading freebies, buying $47 products, or $297 courses that never really fully solve your problem, or they might solve one part of it, but not the whole issue. This is for you if you have been doing all the things that the gurus tell you, but are frustrated at the lack of progress in your business. And you routinely try to create that work-life balance that you desire, but fail and then beat yourself up about it and wish that you had more time for your kids, wish you could do more for your clients. I see that also too often for female entrepreneurs. So let's just check with everyone. So you're going to let me know if you're here, say hi and put your name so I can make sure you're here. If you're here for the replay, make sure you put #replay. But I want you to let me know. So is this a yes or no? You're a female business owner and want to build a rock solid business and learn how to leverage your time and to have the freedom to do what you love. Is that a yes or no? Give me a yes in the comments. Are you struggling with working long hours and not earning enough, not earning the amount that you really want to have your dream life? Let me know in the comments if it's a yes or a no. And then that you want to create a profitable, thriving business on your own terms. Some people want more time, so they don't need the 7 figures, right? Some people want 7 figures and they're going for that, and that's great. But there are so many different ways we can be successful, right? And have the dream life that we want. And for some people, that's only working part-time and having this dream business. And other people, it's going full on their business. So for me, I actually run 2 businesses part-time. I work, especially right now, less than 4 hours a day for sure. So I hope you'll let me know if this sounds like you. Is this a yes for you or not? So who am I and why you should listen to me? So I am the mom of 2 teenage boys who keep me very busy. I started out as an international development consultant. I speak Russian. I lived in Russia. I turned into an online business owner kind of by circumstances. And then I realized that I could help a lot of women because they were asking me, how are you doing this online flexible business? And so I realized that I could actually help other women. And so that's when I became a business coach. I am super passionate about helping women achieve their goal, whether that's a side hustle or a way for economic independence. I'm actually kind of shy and introverted, but I do love people and I do love helping people. Like I said, I run 2 businesses part-time and I'm making 6 figures. I've helped clients be able to achieve their dream businesses. And like I said, that runs the gamut from maybe just having a little side hustle to having a full-fledged big business. Some just little tidbits about me. I love international soccer. I don't have a team right now, but I do love to watch it. Newhouse chocolate is my favorite. I have visited Belgium several times and I tried every chocolate house, and that's really one of my favorites. And in the past, not during this COVID time, I do love to travel. I've been lucky enough to travel to many different countries around the world. So if you're here, let me know. Please say your name because I can't always see in the comments from StreamYard who you are. Let me know if you're here live or if you're here for the replay. And we are going to keep going. So today we're going to talk about the biggest mistake most entrepreneurs make that keeps them stuck, frustrated, and confused. And the key step you can do to transform your business from doing all the busy work, doing all the things, kind of being the worker bee, to being strategic and systematic. And finally, the strategic step that successful business owners take to free up their time and really skyrocket their business by scaling and growing. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And here's my promise to you. You will learn the 3 shifts you must make to create your dream business. I will definitely provide a lot of value, and I'll have an opportunity for you at the end. Make sure you have a notebook and paper. There's a lot that we're going to cover. I wanted to tell you that this week has ended up being crazy for me. The other night, we found that there was a gas leak in our basement. So the gas people had to come. They turned off our gas, so we had no hot water for more than a day. And so it's been a crazy week. Not exactly what I had envisioned for this week leading up to the webinar, but I'm here to give you all the knowledge that I have about this and to really show you how you can make these shifts in your business so you can have the dream business that you want. So if you share this Facebook Live or tag some friends in it, and you stay to the end, then I have a handout with all the slides so you can have that, so you don't have to worry too much about taking notes on everything. So let me know if you're here. I would love to hear who is here and if you're excited. So are you guys ready? Hi, Anik. Yay, I'm so excited that you're here. I hope you guys are ready. Like I said, I have a lot to cover, and I'm really excited about sharing this. I have never shared these shifts before, so I'm really excited to share this with you. So did you know U.S. women-owned businesses generate $1.8 trillion a year? I think that's an amazing number. I was really shocked at that, but really happy. I think that's a great number, but I think we can improve it, right? And annual revenues of women-owned businesses rose 68% in 2019, which is amazing. And I think a lot of this is online businesses as well. So to $238,000, which I think is really great. But then I found the statistic that the annual average revenue generated by coaching is only $51,000. And I think that's way too low for the amount of people who have great expertise that they can share. If you think that's the annual average, that means people are earning a lot less than that. And there's people earning more, which is great too. And then only 4.2% of all women-owned firms have revenues of 1 million or more. Now, I know that money isn't everything, but I think it also can show we can have more than 4.2% of women-owned businesses. If we're doing so great, if we're expanding so much, I think there can be more women-owned businesses earning more than $1 million. And then on the other side, if money isn't what drives you, but time, mothers get just 17 minutes of me time to themselves each day, which is outrageous. That's definitely not enough for a mother and especially a mom entrepreneur. So whether you want more time and a balanced life or more income, based on those statistics, I want to change those things. I want coaches to earn more. I want women to be able to earn more. And I want mothers and female entrepreneurs to have the time, that work-life balance that they're really craving for. So one thing that I see a lot kind of in the marketplace is a lot of people promote kind of a one-size-fits-all approach. And I would suggest to you that as female entrepreneurs, we're all different. The way our brains work are different. Our businesses are different. Our family lives and our situations, our lifestyles are different. So one size is not going to work for everybody. And so many of the programs focus on hustling 24/7, right? You have to wake up at 4 a.m. so you have that extra time. And I think that people who promote that aren't typically moms who have kids who wake up in the middle of the night, who aren't getting enough sleep as it is, who are running all day. And so be careful of gurus who don't really understand kind of this unpredictable life of female entrepreneurs. I think they just can't understand our lives, and so therefore their solutions aren't going to work for us. So I want to tell you about Sori, who I've worked with. She's the kind of person who always thought in the past she could do it all herself if she just worked hard enough, right? But just working together for a little bit, she realized that I had some strategies that could really help her manage her business in an entirely different manner, so that we were able to transform the way she was working. She had more time for her children and still was able to perform for her clients. So she was a great person to work with. So let's talk about the 3 essential shifts. So I discovered these shifts working with a lot of female entrepreneurs and seeing kind of these same issues coming up over and over, even not dependent on their businesses at all, different business types and different industries. So these shifts can help you have that rock solid business, the foundations that you need. So you're not wasting hours, you're not losing your sanity or selling your soul. So you can have the time, the income, the dream business, the dream lifestyle, even if you've tried everything else before. So let's talk about the 3 essential shifts. So the first one is clarity, and we're going to talk about the different areas of clarity you need. Numbers, this is a really big one, I especially think for females. And then mindset, and I think there's a lot of areas that we can work on for mindset. So let's start with the clarity piece. So the first shift is all about clarity, because when you don't have clarity in these different areas of your business, you're not going to be able to attract those dream clients or customers. You're not going to be able to have that dream income, especially on a consistent basis. And you're not going to have the time that you really want for the lifestyle that you want, because you haven't been clear on all these areas. So let's talk about those different areas. So these are the 4 areas I think that you really need to work on. And the first is your mission. The second is clients and customers. The third is your unique selling proposition. And the fourth is your offer. So let's go down into details. So your mission. You really need to think about, for your business, what do you do and why do you do it? And then who are you helping, right? So you really need to think about, and a lot of people do this in a superficial way, but I think you really need to go deeper and then really think about, okay, what is your client or customer's transformation? And even if you have a product-based business, people go through a transformation with your product, right? So really think about, what is the transformation and what do they feel like now with your product or service, right? And think about really why you want to do this business. I know a lot of female entrepreneurs are doing this so that they can have the freedom and flexibility, but a lot of times they also want to make a larger impact in the world, right? So I'm really passionate about having female entrepreneurs, because I think economic independence can allow women to make decisions without worrying about finances. So whether you want to move out of the city you're in, you have the economic independence to make that decision, or maybe you want to move out of a relationship, whatever that is for you, having economic independence is really freeing. And so that's why I'm so passionate about this. So you really need to think about, what is your larger mission for your business? So then your clients and customers. And, you know, a lot of people, they have the ideal client avatar kind of exercises, and those are fine. But a lot of times they just focus on the demographics, right? They just talk about, you know, how old they are, maybe where they live, maybe their job titles, things like that. But I need you to dig deeper. And when you talk about psychographics, and those are things like personality and their values, their attitudes, their lifestyle, their interests. When you start to really understand, you see a pattern that people all like one thing, then you kind of know that, oh, I'm starting to see this pattern that these people are all similar, right? But you also need to then think about, what is their biggest struggle, right? What are they struggling with, and what do they identify as their biggest struggle? So, because sometimes as a coach, you can see they're saying it's X, but you know it's actually Y. But you need to understand what they think their problem is, right? And also the transformation they want. And again, sometimes it's not the transformation you think they need, but they don't really understand that. So you need to know what they think the transformation they want is. And then it's really important that you really hone in on the language that they use. So when you are talking with clients and even potential clients, you want to write down word for word how they describe their struggles, their pain points, the transformation they're looking for. Because if you can use those words, then they will realize, wow, she totally gets me. I have clients say to me all the time, it was like you were in my head. You totally knew exactly the problems I were having and how to solve them. And that's only because I've really tried to listen to their pain points and struggles and use their words. And they'll be like, oh, it's like you're in my head, right? So that's really important for you to really dig deep into the clients, not the kind of the superficial things that you see a lot of people do, but really digging deep. So your unique selling proposition. So as you know, there are probably millions of business coaches, but we're all different, right? And so you really need to think about, how are you unique to other people? So maybe you have a quirky personality that really attracts people. I have a friend who's a business coach who's kind of got the style, right? So that attracts a certain type of people, her personality, which is very different from what I'm like, right? But I think it's great because I think there's enough for everybody, right? There are enough different types of people for any type of business coach. You just need to identify how you're different, right? So personality is one way. Maybe you have a special approach. Maybe you have a special system that you use, a signature system that you guide your client through. Or maybe you've developed certain tools or research. Maybe it's like a checklist, or maybe it's a calculator, whatever that is. You've developed something specific for your business that your client wouldn't find with anybody else, right? And then maybe you have a certain type of client experience that's different from everybody else. Maybe you excel at having this great client journey, right? And so you can actually use that in your selling, right? So really figure out, how are you different from everybody else? And that might take a little research on your part, going to look at some competitors, maybe look at people who are maybe higher or been in experience longer, or maybe have less experience than you. So you can actually really get an idea of how you're different from these people. So, I'm not telling you to steal their things, but I mean, just look at what they're doing and how they identify themselves. And you can think, okay, I'm different because of X, or I'm different from this person because of Y, right? So really think about how you're different from everybody else. So clarity around your offer. So a lot of the people I work with are not clear on their offer. And I think when you're not clear, your clients aren't going to be certain that you're the one for them, right? So you really need to think about your offer. So what are you offering? But not only what you're offering, but what is the problem that you're solving? Because remember, people don't care kind of about you or your offer, right? What they want is a solution to their problem. So you really need to hone in on that. And who is specifically for? A lot of times it's helpful if you can call out who it's for. So maybe you only work with coaches. So you'd say, this is for coaches if you're having this problem, right? So that they know, okay, this is only for me. And then again, a lot of people talk about all the things that are included, but instead of focusing on benefits. So benefits are the things that actually sell. So those are the things that are solving their problems. So they don't care like if it's 4 modules and you have, videos. I mean, you can talk about that at some point, but what really will sell it is the benefits. So the problems that you solve for them. And again, using that unique selling proposition, you can really differentiate your offer from everybody else's offer. I mean, there's a ton of people who offer like training on LinkedIn, right? But some people are different than other people. Some people focus maybe on LinkedIn ads and somebody else focuses on another, just, redoing your profile. So you can see that while there's a vast variety of people who maybe do the same thing as you, there's different ways you can focus and show them how you're different. And then again, really focus in your offer on the benefits and then the transformation. So what's their original state? And then what's the state after they work with you, after they've gone through your program, right? So really focus on your clarity for your offer. So those are the 4 shifts for clarity. So again, it's your mission. You need to get really clear on that. And your clients and customers, who specifically you want to work with and how you can help them. Your unique selling proposition. How you're different from everyone else, and then really your offer, the thing that you're offering that sets you apart from everybody else. So let me know, did you have any aha moments? Does that make sense in terms of clarity on the different areas I think your business? Usually when clients come to me, there's an area that they're not clear on. And so I want to make sure that you guys have all those areas taken care of. You've really thought about them so that you can have impact. You can attract the clients that you want. So let me know if you had any aha moments. I would love to hear that. I'm going to take a sip of water first before we move on. Okay, great. So the second shift we're going to talk about is numbers. And this is a big one, I think, for females. I think a lot of us kind of don't like numbers and money. And so this is a big area for us. So we have a lot to go through here. So these are some numbers, and these are shifts you need to make. So one is money, of course. So we're going to talk about income and profit, expenses, the return on your investments, the time you have for your business, the number of clients you can service, and not just the vanity metrics for social media, but growth. So these are all the areas we're going to talk about. So money, we're also going to talk about money and mindset. So when we're talking about money for numbers, I really want you to think about money goals. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs don't do them, or they kind of just throw out, oh, I want $100,000 for the year. But you really need to break that down. So you have an idea approximately how much each month you need to earn, maybe even each week. I know some people do daily ones. So whatever feels good to you. I don't want it to be kind of an obsessive thing. I want it just to be a landmark, a goalpost that you can try to go to. But you do need to break it down so you have an idea, a ballpark idea of what you want to do for each month. And I think in terms of money, a lot of women do not value their expertise. So they're not pricing right. And a lot of people say price your worth, which I don't really like that way of saying it because worth makes me feel like it's a personal thing. And instead, I want you to make sure you're valuing your expertise. So some of the people I worked with said, oh, I did all this work, but it's really easy for me to do. And so I feel like I can't charge that much. But this person had gone to school for like 10 years and had all these certifications. And I said, well, if I tried to replicate that and I spent 10 years in all the education you had, I would pay a lot more. And so you need to make sure that you're really understanding the value you can bring to the table and how you can make it easier for your clients, right? So make sure you're valuing your expertise. And so many of us have limiting beliefs around money. And I hear this all the time. People are saying like, oh, I can't charge that much. Nobody charges that much in my industry, things like that. So I want to tell you a story. So I was in a couple years ago, a business group. It was a paid program. And there was a woman in there who trained cats to use the toilet in New York City. And she was a millionaire, right? So I think we have these limiting beliefs about how much we can charge, how much we can earn, and they're just not true. If this woman who has the skill, I guess, and it's a necessary thing in New York City, she gets paid premium for this, right? And so when we have all this expertise and these skills and we think, oh, I can't charge that much, I think that's a story you're telling yourself. And you need to make sure that you are squashing those limiting beliefs and really working on them and thinking people do pay for value. They pay for things that solve their problems, right? So you need to make sure that there are some kind of industry standards or some statistics. If you do that research, that's fine. But so many people just have a limiting belief that, oh, I can't earn more than this. And most of the time, that's not really true. And I'll tell you a story about me with numbers. So I was talking to my brother, and this is a couple years ago, and I said, oh, I really haven't kept track of this. I'm just not good with numbers. And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, I'm not very good with numbers, and I haven't done this work that I should have done. He said, you're good with numbers. He's like, remember in high school you took calculus and you got A's, and in college and in grad school you took upper level statistics classes and you took accounting. He's like, you're good with numbers. And I was like, oh, that's true, I guess. And he said, you may not like numbers, but you can't say that you're bad at them. And I realized that this was a story I was telling myself about numbers. And it took me a long time to really work through that because it wasn't true. I could do numbers. I didn't particularly like to do them, but I could do them. So really make sure you're thinking about numbers and then thinking about your limiting beliefs around them, because I think this is something that holds a lot of female entrepreneurs back. So the next thing we want to talk about is income and profit. So because you're the CEO of your business, you need to set aside time for this each week. Maybe monthly if you don't earn necessarily money each week, but you need to set aside some time. And I want you to look not only at the numbers, like how much you're earning and maybe the profit on that, but look at trends and see what products or services are doing really well, right? And so you want to look at what's my best performing service or product. Now, a lot of people will stop there in terms of analysis, right, of your finances. But what I would suggest to you is if time is important to you, if the best selling product or service you have is really labor intensive and it's all you and you can't outsource or you can't automate and you don't like to do it, then you might want to think, I need to make some changes, right? Because I want you to be doing the services you really like to do. You're really able to give the transformation and the results to your clients, and you love to do that work and have that being the highest performing one. So if you have a program that's your highest performing, but you don't like it, there's something out of balance. And you're going to have to think strategically about how can I switch this? Maybe I can change the service to make it more, acceptable for me to do. Or maybe I need to, scratch that service altogether and focus on something else to make that my best selling service. So I always want you to look at the numbers, but also balance that. And what's your goal? Is your goal to have a business that you work part-time so you have time for your family? Or if you're only about the money, then maybe that's fine for you. But really make sure you're thinking of this in terms of a balance. Expenses. So this is definitely a necessary part of business, right? Think about brick and mortar businesses. They have really high expenses, and a lot of them are upfront, right? They have to rent out a place, they have furniture, they have all these things that as online business owners, we don't need, but we have expenses. And I would definitely recommend that you choose wisely about the types of expenses you're doing. Of course, you need to make sure you're careful, but I think people in some ways are too careful and they're not willing to invest in some expenses that are really good expenses. Something you can look for to a lot of the programs are kind of monthly pricing. And that obviously over years adds up, right? But there are also a lot of what I call long-term deals. They're called LTDs. And what it is, you pay a one-time price. And it may seem high at first, maybe a couple $100, but if you cost that out over several years, it's actually a better deal. And so, maybe like a calendar service is like $15 a month, but what if you paid upfront $200 and that's a one-time fee forever? Obviously, that's a better deal in the end if you're continuing to work in business. So really look at kind of the different types of programs out there, the monthly pricing versus long-term deals. And expenses are something you really need to keep an eye on because as your business changes, maybe you're growing, so you might need more products or more expenses, or you'd have different expenses, right? Or maybe you're offering a new product or service that requires different expenses. So you really need to make sure you're keeping tab and you're getting rid of the programs that you no longer need, or you're adding the programs that will really give you something new, either give you more time or it gives you more time for your clients, or makes things go more smoothly, a better client experience, right? So make sure you're really looking at your expenses and keeping tabs on them as your business changes. So another must know is return on investment. And this is a big one. So I hear a lot of people with these kind of new products or services, something like Kajabi, which is kind of an all-in-one thing. It has websites and memberships and all these things involved. And they say, oh, $100 $99 a month, that's a lot of money. It is, but you need to look at what it's providing for you. So for Kajabi, it's you wouldn't need then a web person because it has web pages. You don't need to then hire someone to do a membership site or sign up for a membership site. They have landing pages, emails, they have all these different things in one thing. So if you added up the expense of all the other programs that you would need to replicate that, it might be a good deal for you. And again, remember, you're looking at return on investment, not only money-wise, but also time-wise. So if having Kajabi saves you a lot of time, so you have more time to create new products or services or actually work with your clients, then it makes sense, right? So I have a lot of issues with people who talk about like maybe Facebook ads or something like that. They don't really see the return on investment. So I have clients who will say, well, I only want to spend $100 per month on Facebook ads, but they're earning $350 for that $100, right? Through different purchases that people make. So really they're having a profit of $250. And so we'll say, well, why don't you grow and scale that and spend more in ads, and then you would actually make more. So if you spent $1,000, you'd actually make $3,500. If you spend $10,000, you make $35,000. But the client says, oh no, I don't want to spend more than $100 per month on Facebook ads. And I think there's a disconnect. I think it's scary to think about spending, like $10,000 on Facebook ads. But when you get a return like that, I mean, any gambler would love that kind of return. So you need to think strategically. And I know expenses can be scary, but if you're having a return on your investment with them, it makes sense. So that's why it's so important with numbers too. You're not just looking at the expenses, but actually what you're getting back. So another must know is time. So this is another number that so many female entrepreneurs struggle with, right? Having the time that they need for their business, having the time for their family or their partner or spouse, parents, whoever that is. So just talking through about how you can have a better handle on your time. So I think it's really important first that we start kind of with the obligations you have. So maybe now, in the past, maybe you were taking kids to different, sporting events or piano and things like that. Now with COVID, it's been a little different, but you have obligations probably to help your children with their homework or sit with Zoom calls with their teachers, right? Summer's here, so things are changing again, but still think about those things that you have to do, you're responsible for, and nobody else can do them. And then also talk about non-business activities. So those are the things that you might have to do. So maybe you do have to have a class, or maybe you have time that you need to do something in your house, cleaning, whatever that is. You need to block those things off first, because those are things that you have to do. Then only then will you really know how much time you have to work on your business. And I think people mistake this. First, they figure out their business and then they try to fit everything in first. But I'm big on having that work-life balance. And you need to do the other things first, the non-business things first, in order to figure out how much time you have for your business. And what's really helpful about this, when you realize how much time you have for your business, then you actually have an idea of how much you can charge. So let's say you can only work, let's say 20 hours a month. And you want to hit a goal of, let's say, $10,000, you know how much you have to price, right? You know how many clients you're going to have. You know how many products you'd have to sell. So then you have a better idea how to price those things. In addition, you need to think about, for business, it's not just working with your clients or not just selling the products, but there's a lot of other things that go into running a business. So it can be like lead generation. We all have administration time. It doesn't matter who you are. Every business owner has administrative things that they have to do, whether it's invoices or paying bills or looking at your bank statements, bookkeeping, things like that. And again, I would encourage you to do CEO time, to really start to think strategically. Look at these numbers and saying, am I working on the right things? Am I working on the wrong things? Do I want to switch things up? So only when you actually schedule time for these things do they actually happen. So as a part of the time, I really need you to think about the number of clients you can service, or even the number of products that you could sell, right? Or projects that you could work on, whatever that is for you. You really need to think about the amount of client time. When you think about back when you started your business, right? You're desperate for clients, right? And you think, oh God, if I had 10 clients, I would be making so much money, it would be great. But you don't really think about the amount of time it takes to fulfill those for each client, the amount of time it takes. So it's not only the time you take to actually talk with your clients. So maybe you have a Zoom call every week with them, right? But there's a lot of administrative time connected with that client as well. So you might have maybe preparation for the call, and then you maybe write up notes after the call, and maybe you promised a certain training or a certain worksheet to send them and follow up emails, right? So there's a lot of things that are in addition to just that 1 hour, and so many people forget that and don't account for that. So there's to service 10 clients and have 10 calls every week, so easy to burn out because you haven't taken into account everything. So I want you to really think about the number of clients you could actually service. And if you think about, the amount of time you have for your business and then kind of break it down like that, you'll have a more realistic idea of how many clients you could actually have at one time. And I want to talk about numbers too in terms of social media. So many people are worried about the number of followers, right? And that's really not the important number. I mean, and to some extent it is. But you want to look not just at followers, but really engagement. Are people liking? Are people commenting? Are people saving or sharing? Those are things that are really important for social media. And I don't want you to necessarily look day to day. I want you to look kind of at long-term growth, right? Because day to day, especially like on a platform like Instagram, you may go up and down, up and down, up and down, just because there's people who follow and unfollow, that kind of thing. So I don't want you to worry about every day, but over time, like over 3 months, look and see, am I growing or am I not? And again, look for that engagement. Are people direct messaging you? I don't have a huge following and I don't have super high engagement, but I have a lot of people who direct message me. And that's what counts for me. Like they like the content I'm putting out and they want to learn more about working with me. And in addition, think about numbers in terms of website traffic. So maybe you have opt-ins that you're sending people to your website. So if you have something like Google Analytics, so again, over time, you can see, am I increasing? Are people coming to my website? Are they staying on it for a long time? Are they downloading my freebie? Those are all things, again, metrics that you can look at over time. So those are the numbers. So we talked about money and then income, expenses, your return on investment, the time you have for your business, the number of clients you can service. And again, for social media, not just vanity metrics, but growth. So let me know if you had any aha moments with numbers. I think it's really important to really hone in on numbers. Like I said, I wasn't always a big number person, but now I realize how important it is for me to be able to make good decisions for my business when I understand the numbers. So let me know if you had any aha moments about numbers or even clarity, whatever. I'm going to take a sip of water. And then we will move on to mindset shift. And this is a big one. I know when I started my business, I didn't really realize the role that mindset would play. And I thought, well, if I learn how to do a website and do social media and, bookkeeping and administrative things, that's what I needed to know. I didn't really think about building my mindset muscle. And I realized over time how important it is. So you must shift your mindset in these areas. So one is money mindset. So we'll talk some more about that. This is a big one for me, the kind of moving from the employee or the worker bee mindset to a CEO mindset. And it's a big shift. And you will see a lot of people who haven't made this shift kind of stay plateaued in their business. They're not able to grow. And then the do it all yourself to shift to investing in your business, right? So let's talk about these. So money mindset. Like I said, I didn't realize the role that mindset would play, and a money mindset is a big one for female entrepreneurs. And it's really thinking about going from the scarcity mindset, saying there's not enough clients, no one will pay me these things, no one will pay this price for me, right? To abundance thinking, there's enough clients for everybody. Everybody's different. Everyone's attracted to something different. There's enough for everybody. There's always enough money that's flowing through the universe, right? So it's really shifting your money mindset. So there's a book that's called You're a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero, which is a really big one that a lot of people really like. I've read a ton of books, but this is one definitely to start with if you haven't ever worked on money mindset before. There's podcasts like Amanda Francis is a big person in the money mindset industry. Money coaches, I really like Christina Bold. She's on Facebook. I think she has a very kind of soft and nurturing way to talk about it. I think that you need to find something that works for you to work on your money mindset. And so I like journal prompts. If you kind of Google them or on Pinterest, there are tons of them that give you ideas to kind of prompt you to talk about and think about money. And I journal them. There's also an exercise that's called Write Your Money Story. So either that is like writing a letter to money saying, I'm sorry that I've treated you this way all these years. I pledge to do this differently, and how you would do that differently. Or you can really talk about your money story in terms of maybe your parents kind of talked about money in a scarce way, that there wasn't enough money, we don't have enough money, you have to be careful with money. And that kind of sets some tone for you and your ideas about money. And so you can really write through that and think about, is this really true or not? And then how you want to view money in the future. So if you haven't done those kind of exercises, they can be really helpful. And if you want more information, you can message me and I can send you some more information. And again, this is something that you need to do on an ongoing basis. Everyone thinks, oh, well, I solved that money mindset issue, now I'm done. But it just doesn't work that way, because once you grow and hit like a new level, there's usually like kind of a ceiling that we all have, right? That we can't get through. So we think, okay, once we make $100,000, we think, wow, we don't have any more money issues. But now scaling that up to maybe multiple six figures, there's new money things that come up for us. Like, why would people pay more money for me? Why would people pay double the amount for my service, right? So there's a lot of things that come up at different stages, and you need to make sure you're aware of that and then working through those. So I hope you guys will start to really think about your money mindset. So next, this one is really big, and I have seen this with my clients all the time, and it's one that's kind of hard to shift. So if you think about it, if you worked somewhere in the past, maybe you were in corporate or you worked for some businesses, whatever that was, before you went to work, your boss kind of dictated the types of things that you did. The workday schedule was kind of set for you. You went to work, you did your thing, and you came home, right? It was all kind of planned out for you. But now when you are your own CEO, you're in charge. You're not like the employee or the worker bee doing all the things yourself. You need to start to think about, what does a CEO do? What does a six-figure business owner, seven-figure business owner do that's different from this, right? So one of the things is CEO time. Really taking the time to be strategic. When you think about it, like the CEO of Walmart or something, they're not sitting making everything or stocking the shelves, right? They're thinking, okay, what's our overall plan look like? Where are we making money? Where are the issues? They're looking strategically. And I think a lot of female entrepreneurs don't take the time to do this. And they say, but Karen, I am so busy. I don't have a second, right? I don't have time to do this. But I would suggest you don't have time not to do it, because you're never going to get out of that mode of continually working kind of on the hamster wheel unless you take time to think about strategy for your business. Take a step back and really view it from a different perspective. And so it doesn't have to take a lot of time. I think this is the other thing. I would start with like 30 minutes a week. Right? I kind of do it on Mondays for me. So I can kind of get an overview, think how things are going, look at maybe what I want to switch up, right? And I think the CEO mindset is kind of a muscle, and you need to work at it. So maybe at the beginning, you can barely do 30 minutes. Like, you don't even know what to think about for those 30 minutes. But as you grow into it, you'll find more and more that you want to do as the CEO during this time. And so, start small and then kind of work up to it, and you'll start to find more and more things that you can think about strategically. And again, this is also a time that you can look at those numbers and see what's working well for you, what's not. Maybe you should cut some programs. Maybe you need a new program. So that's the kind of work that I want you to be thinking of, instead of just doing all the client work all the time. And again, look at that overall strategy, because I think that's how you're going to be able to grow and scale. If you're only just doing the worker bee thing, doing all the things yourself, you're not going to be able to scale consistently to the, whether it's income or kind of that dream lifestyle that you want. And so also a worker bee employee versus CEO mindset. A lot of people are afraid to have expenses with tools and software, right? They say, oh, that's so expensive, I can just do that myself, right? And so I want to tell you a little story. I'm going to have a rant here, because in the past, since the beginning of the year, I've had 3 interactions with other businesses that have really puzzled me, have been really startling to me. And I want to tell you and show you why I think their viewpoint is short-sighted. So one of the people that I was trying to hire did graphics, and I wanted some graphics done for my business, and I really liked the styles who were going back and forth and talking about prices and packages. And so I was like, okay, so I'm really interested. What do I need to do to move forward with you? And she said, okay, well, Venmo me the money. And I said, Venmo? I said, well, I'm a business and you're a business. Venmo is really only for personal use. I said, I can't Venmo you money. Do you have PayPal or Stripe or Square or some other way to pay you? She's like, no, because they take fees from me. And so I don't get the full amount. And I said, well, because I'm a business owner, I can't Venmo you money, right? And so I didn't purchase from her, even though I really liked her graphics. So let's go through some numbers here and why I think this is short-sighted. So the cost of typical payment processors, some are a little different, but approximately it's like 2.9% plus 30 cents, right? So if I was buying $100 worth of graphics, right, you would pay $3.20 in fees. So she didn't want to pay those $3.20. But for that $100 transaction, if you're using Venmo, I can't pay you because I'm a business owner, right? So you get zero money. If she had PayPal and she paid the $3.20 fee, she would get $96.80 from me. So which is better, right? Is it better to get $0 or is it better to get $96? And I think we can all agree it's better to receive that money. Even though you're paying a fee, she didn't get any money from me because I wouldn't move forward with her. Instead, she could have gotten $96. In addition, what if I loved her graphics and I came back to her 2 more times, right? So with Venmo, she got 0. If she had a payment processor, simple one like PayPal or something, I would have paid her $290.40. Yes, she would have $9.60 in fees, but instead she got 0. So you need to think not only about the one-time transaction, but what is the lifetime value of a customer? And I think that she was really short-sighted, right? Instead of paying, the $3.20 fee and getting some money from me, she got nothing. And not only that, I won't go back to her, right? Because she is not setting up her business, I think, in the proper way. There's a cost of doing business and offering superior client experience. So it wasn't a good client experience for me, right? Because when she said Venmo, I said Venmo, that then sends signals, red flags to me, right? Saying, is she really a business owner? Because that seems a weird way for you to ask money from me. And because I'm a business, I don't have Venmo. So it wasn't a good experience to me. And again, there's a cost to doing business. Just because we're not brick and mortar and we don't have these big expenses, there are still expenses, right? And you want to make it as easy as possible for people to pay you. I see so many situations when they make it super hard to pay. And then I usually just get off. I'm like, okay, you don't want my money. You want to make it this hard for me. I'm just not going to go through with this transaction. So make it as easy as possible for people to pay you. And the one system that you should be investing in, you should be paying for, is your payment processor, because that's how you stay in business, is to receive funds. So I highly recommend that you understand the idea of having this fee. That's really important. And again, the same idea, there are legal implications. So again, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a CPA, any of those things. But my understanding is if you have an LLC, which this person said that they did, you can't commingle personal and business funds, right? And we have protection with limited liability corporations, LLCs, because if somebody sued us, they could only go after our business assets. Again, this is my opinion and understanding. They couldn't go after our personal. But if you aren't following the rules of the LLC, you don't have the protection. So that if you're using Venmo, which again is against their terms of service, and you're not using everything business funds, they call it piercing the veil. You're piercing the veil, so you do not have the protections of the LLC. And so I was so shocked that she was an LLC accepting Venmo payments. And so again, I think there are legal implications. Check with your advisors, your attorneys, or your CPAs, or your business advisors, whoever that is, if you're doing this, to make sure that you still have the protections. In addition, think about this. There's a perception that you're not very professional when she said Venmo. And I'm like, you're an LLC and you're using Venmo? That's weird. I am an LLC and I follow the rules, and there are certain expenses that I have in order to follow those rules, right? So I start to think, okay, if you're not following the rules for this, are you really going to fulfill my contract, right? So I'm going to Venmo you this money. Are you actually going to send me the graphics? It starts to erode my trust in this business transaction. So if you're willing to cut corners in this, you don't want to pay this fee, what other things are you cutting corners on? So again, you really need to think as a CEO, like I couldn't go, to Panera and say, hey, can I Venmo you money for this sandwich? What are you talking about? Like, that doesn't make sense, right? And so I think a lot of times when we start maybe as freelancers or we're bootstrapping in the beginning, we never shift out of that mentality. And you need to treat your business seriously so that people take you serious. And then people come to me and say, well, I can't charge high prices. No one's paying that. But if you're doing these things, your perception is that you're not high value, that you shouldn't receive the types of money that you're asking because you haven't set up your business in the proper way. So I hope you think about this. Okay, that's my rant is over. But this is one that I've seen so common recently, which is really surprising to me. I don't know if new businesses are starting and they haven't really figured everything out, but I definitely want you to make sure that you're giving a great client experience. You're acting like a CEO. And another mindset shift is from doing it all yourself to investing in your business, right? So at the beginning, of course, we all do it ourselves, and that's okay. You have to do it yourself at the beginning because you don't have enough funds and you don't have experience. But there's a point where you can do it yourself, but should you, right? There's a trade-off, and time is a big one with that, right? So if you're doing every graphic and every social media post yourself, that means you're not able to service clients, right? And so you need to make sure you're making that shift. So I always talk about a couple things. You have to know enough. So I've seen people who, have a big launch and they have all these complicated systems, and then something happens to their VA, they're sick or whatever happens, and they can't work. And this person has no idea what to do. And so I think you have to know enough. So whatever tool or system you have, you need to be able, if something happens to the team member or the person, you're able to step in and keep it going, right? But I don't want you to necessarily have to do everything. You just have to know enough to hire the right people who know how to do it, and then you can step in if need be. And also the cost of it is what I call it. The cost of you doing it instead of having someone else do it. And there's definitely a cost, right? So maybe if you didn't spend that hour doing those graphics, you could have been having another client or creating a new product or service, right? So there's a cost to those things, and you really need to think about those. Automation is a great way that you can invest in your business, right? Have those tools that you can have that takes you out of the equation. So like some of these calendar scheduling applications, they take you out of it. You just send the link, people sign up, they get reminders, they can even pay, all of this without you having to do anything except set it up at the beginning. And then outsourcing. Obviously, at some point, most people are going to need to outsource. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to hire an employee, right? That can be just contracting out. So like I was having someone do some graphics for me, right? So there's a couple different areas that you can outsource. So the types of investments, right? So it could be a virtual assistant who's kind of maybe more general. I mean, there's some specialized one as well, like there's some Pinterest managers and things like that. But that's a typical one that people start with to help you out in your business. And then there's other team members, like I said, a graphic designer perhaps, or maybe you have a website designer or somebody who maintains your website. So there's a lot of different types of service providers that you could hire, a bookkeeper, for instance. And then again, an investment could be in software. So like I was talking about like Kajabi or Kartra, there's all these kind of all-in-one platforms now that really take away some of all the pieces. Instead, you just have one big box piece. And while it's a higher investment, it actually can save you time and maybe make it easier for your business. So that's worth it as well. And then another type of investment I think is so important is having a mentor. So I've always had coaches. I'm in masterminds because I have seen that I'm able to make much more progress working with other people who know more than me. Like I can always learn from them. And I think, when you think about it, I could do some of these things by myself. It would probably take me much longer and I'd probably make a lot of mistakes along the way. But working with a mentor or a coach has really fast-tracked me, has really compressed the timeline for me to get from point A to point B. So again, these are all investments that I think are really important for your business. And I think in the past, people have been afraid to invest. But by investing, you actually can grow and scale. If you don't invest in your business in any way, you're kind of going to stay stuck. There's only a certain amount of clients you can service. There's only a certain amount of time that you have for all the things in your business. So really think about how can you invest in your business. So again, the mindset shifts are the money mindset, which is something I think we all need to work on. And then going from that employee to the CEO mindset. And then do it all yourself to investing in yourself and your business. So those were the 3 essential shifts to skyrocket your business. So let me know what you thought, if you had some aha moments. So again, it's clarity and numbers and mindset. Let me know if some things you've never thought about before, or maybe you've heard them, you've just never acted on them. I hope that you took notes so that you will definitely be able to say, okay, this is an area that I need to work on. Pick one area that you can start with and start making a difference with that. So let me know, was this useful, inspiring? Did you learn something new? Let me know, yes or no. I would love to hear if this is resonating with you, if you feel like you learned some new things, some things that maybe you can focus on in your business now. So I would love to hear, let me know. Great. Yes, good. So let me ask you, if there was a way that you could create this rock solid business without hiring a one-on-one coach or buying program after program so that you can have the support, accountability, and guidance that you need for 12 months, even if you've never been able to make the income or have the business of your dreams before, would you take that? Because now you can. So what if I told you there was a way to have the support, the training, accountability, the guidance that you need, that you won't have to hire your own one-on-one coach for thousands of dollars for just like 2 months? That you can have the business that provides the income, the time, the lifestyle that you desire. So I am starting a new program, a pilot program called Unstoppable Female Entrepreneurs. It's a group coaching program. I'm really excited about it because it can really help you run the business you love, lets you have all your questions answered when you need them. So many times I've worked one-on-one with clients and we do, for 8 weeks, but then after that, they have more questions that come up. So this is a long-term program to really get the questions answered, have the guidance that you need when you need them. And it gives you the systems and the strategies to give you more time for yourself that you desperately need without the need to spend thousands of dollars each month, without the need to spend copious amounts of hours learning new programs and researching them, taking course after course, even if you think you've tried it all. Allow me to introduce Sarah Michelle. So she was a great client of mine. She was an actor, a director. She's a video superstar. She helps people with videos. And she's a super creative person. So she had a lot of problems doing some systems and strategies in her business. So we were able to develop some that actually she really loved and she saw the benefit of them. And so we had a great time working together, and she's just one of the types of people that I love to work with. And so let me talk about what's included in this program. So what we'll do together is we're going to do some of the shifts that we talked about. So really getting clarity. So defining or even redefining your mission, your niche, and ideal clients. This is such an uncertain time. I think we're all trying to figure out and to navigate what's going to be different about my business. How are my clients different? How can I serve them differently, right? So we kind of need to define or redefine. And then also get your systems set up and on autopilot so that you can grow and scale, because without the systems, you're just not going to be able to on a consistent basis. And you can continue to discover new cutting edge strategies to support you in your dream. So I am part of masterminds. I have my own coaches and I'm always learning. I'm really excited. I love tech. And so I always love trying new programs and software. And so I definitely am able to bring that to all my clients. And so what it includes is we'll have 2 90-minute group Zoom calls per month. So we'll have some content and then some hot seat coaching. So you bring your problems, whatever you're stuck on, you can bring that and then we'll discuss that and I'll help coach you through that. We'll have presentations and some guest speakers too. Like I said, I'm not a money mindset expert, but I do have some friends who can come in and talk about that. There'll be a private members only Facebook group so that in between the 2 calls, you can post your questions there. I can give you feedback maybe on sales pages or emails, whatever that is, and we can celebrate things. I'm really big on celebrating your wins, and this is a great place that we can do that. I also want to have some co-working sessions. So I know a lot of people having accountability is a big issue. When I work with my clients one-on-one, they do really great. And then after our term is over, they kind of fall. So I want to make sure that you have some accountability. And one of the ways is we get on like a Zoom call together. We all work. We do typically Pomodoro. So you work for 25 minutes and have a 5-minute break. And just having kind of the other faces there working, it kind of forces you to want to be able to work as well. So we can do the co-working sessions. And then partner matching. So I think it's helpful in addition to have peer accountability and to have other people you get to learn about their business, maybe even make new collaborations and friends, but actually have them with you along the journey so that from day to day, maybe you check in with each other, or you hold each other accountable as well. So again, I try to work with different types of learners. Sarah Michelle was a very visual and artistic learner. So we do the group coaching calls, but we have the Facebook group too. And then we'll have trainings and a portal so that if things come up that people seem to have the same issues, maybe it's lead generation, I definitely have a lot of different trainings and worksheets and things that I can offer to you so that you can have some support in that way as well. So other solutions, a lot of people buy tiny little programs for $27 or $47 that solve maybe one specific program or one specific issue that you have. And then there's courses maybe that do a little bit more, or having that one-on-one coach can be quite expensive. But because this is geared specifically for female entrepreneurs in your business, because I understand female entrepreneurs. I am one. I am also a mom. I've been in this industry for over 12 years. I started my first online business 12 years ago, and I run 2 businesses. I definitely understand the time and the dream business that people are wanting. So good thing is I'm not charging you thousands of dollars to work with me, and I'm still giving you 10 times more value, more impact, and more results. People who know me and who've worked with me, I always over-deliver. I really want your success. I want results for you. But there's a catch because it's a pilot program. It's only going to be available at this price for a short amount of time. I really want to get going. I want to get people started so we can really figure out what's the best way that I can support you. And I really find that during this kind of strange times, I've been getting so many messages from people who are struggling. And I know that not everyone can hire me one-on-one. And this was a way that I could impact more people and have an affordable price that people could afford. So after this time, though, the price will go up. So right now you can join Unstoppable Female Entrepreneurs Group Program for a one-time payment of $19.97 or 12 payments of $199. And if you go to secondneckmoms.com/unstoppable, I'll put that in the comments, then you can, that's where you can get all the information about it. And because it's a pilot program, I'm actually going to talk with people. So you're going to sign up for a call with me. I'm really interested not in numbers. I really like to work with certain types of people who I think are motivated, who have the right kind of businesses. So again, this is kind of for coaches, consultants, service providers. I don't really work with product-based businesses just because I'm not a specialist in that. And so I want to make sure that you're getting the success and the results that you want. So I really need people that I think are a good fit for this program. So if you're interested, make sure you go to this link and schedule a call to talk with me. I would love to talk with anyone who is interested. I think this is a great way that you can have long-term support. So many people have just short-term programs that they don't get all their questions answered, because once you solve one problem, a lot of times something new comes up. And I want to make sure that I can give you a full year support. And again, you get the 2 90-minute coaching calls per month. And again, that's a combination of some presentations, some content, and then also some hot seat coaching, so that if you have some questions that you can ask them and get your answered right on the spot. And then we'll have the private Facebook group as well, and the training portal. And as far as the coaching calls, if you're not available at that time, they will be recorded. And you can also submit questions in advance, so that if you're not able to make it, I can still answer your questions. So that way I can cover anybody who's not able to come to every call. And if you think about it, if all this program did was help you create one system to save you time, or get you from overwhelmed and stressed to having a proven strategy to grow your business, or finally allow you to break free from the stress and the chaos that is your typical day, would you agree that $199 is a tiny price to pay to get started? So you have a couple of choices. As always, life is full of choices, right? And so option one, you can decide to do nothing and keep following the different gurus that they have, downloading the freebies, hoping that they will answer one question. And then you realize you have more questions down the road that go unanswered. You can also try to go it alone, so on your own. And it actually might work better now, just because you know the 3 shifts and the things that you should be watching out for in order to grow your business. But sometimes that's not enough, just knowing the information. So, or you can try joining Unstoppable Female Entrepreneurs. It's like you have me on speed dial, right? So that you can get the answers and the support you need for 12 whole months, for a whole year, without wasting time on the courses and the freebies or hiring a one-on-one coach, so you can finally have the business of your dreams. And that's what I'm really passionate about. So the choice is yours. So those who sign up for a call now and sign up for the program will get a free 30-minute one-on-one call with me. That's for all my action takers, because I am definitely an action taker and I love that. So please sign up for a call. I would love to talk with you. If you can't find a time that works for you, let me know. But this is all that you get. Again, just a reminder, so it can be a one-time payment of $19.97 for 12 months of access to the program, or 12 payments of $199. So let me know if anyone has any questions. We covered a lot of material today, and I understand that, but I just wanted to make sure that I gave you all the shifts that I think are so vital in order to make sure that you're making the shifts in your business so you can grow. So let me know in the comments. I'm going to actually look on my phone too, because sometimes this doesn't do well with comments. But let me know if you have any questions. I am happy to answer them. There's a delay, so let me know if you have questions, whether it's the mindset shift, whether it's whether the numbers, or whether it's clarity. If you have any questions, let me know. But if not, so if you're interested, please go to the link and schedule a call to talk with me. I would love to at secondneckmoms.com/unstoppable for Unstoppable Female Entrepreneurs. Sign up for a call. And if you're interested in slides, make sure you shared it or tagged a friend in the comments, and then message me at Karen Grow, and I will be happy to send you the handout. And it's most of the slides. It's not some of the gifts or anything like that. It's just the slides themselves. So let me know if you're interested in that. Make sure you've shared this live and tagged any friends, and then I can give you the slides and message me, and I will be happy to send you the handout. So if there aren't any questions, let me know. But again, I think this is a way that I can help a lot more female entrepreneurs than I have been able to working just one-on-one. This is a 12-month program, which I've never done this longer program before, but I just really feel like I have clients who then come back to me multiple times because they've grown or something has shifted in their business. They have a new service or they want to serve new people. So they have new questions. And this is a way that you can have that support, the guidance, the accountability for a whole year to make sure that you really take the steps you need to in order to grow your business. So thank you so much for joining me today. I think I did just an hour, so I think that's good. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, if you would like to have the handout, make sure you share this on your profile or on your business page, or tag some friends who you think that could really use this information, and then message me and I'll be happy to send you a handout of the slides so that you can get all the information. I know we covered a lot with the 3 shifts, but I wanted to make sure that you really understood the areas that you might need to work on in your business. And I hope that if you took notes or if you get the handout, you'll kind of identify what to work on first, right? So schedule that in your schedule, block off time for CEO time as well to make sure you're looking strategically at your business. But thank you so much for joining me. I'm really excited about this program. I hope you had a lot of information that's really useful to you. If you have any questions, feel free to put them below and I'd be happy to answer them. I'll come back around and answer them, or feel free to message me. I'm always available. So thank you so much, everyone. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks.